I struggled with a foot injury for about 18 months prior to having my lower left leg amputated in December 2013. By January, February timeframe of 2014, my leg had healed enough and I began to be fitted for prosthesis. And then during that spring, I began the process of learning how to walk and utilize it. By the summer, I was riding a bicycle, mowing the lawn, walking out in the woods. Still had some limitations, but overall did very, very well. But then about November or December of 2014, I started having these occasional sort of stabbing knife kind of pains in my leg. They weren't regular, but they showed up often enough that it was a concern to me. And then throughout the rest of the year, the pains started to grow in intensity and regularity to where by about February of 2015, I no longer could wear my prosthesis. Putting it on and just thinking about putting weight on it, trying to stand up, was enough that I couldn't do that. So late February, early March of 2015, I went to using a wheelchair full time. Of course, I've been working with my health team, trying to figure out how we could solve this problem. During that time, my prosthetist made me 3 different test sockets, trying different forms of support and fit to try to ease the pain and to keep that from happening, but nothing helped. Just kept getting worse and worse. I went back to the surgeon who originally did the amputation to see if there was a surgical answer, and he said there was nothing to do surgery about. So my surgeon and my physical rehab doctor referred me back to the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. My local hospital medical team are affiliated with them. So last month in August, I had an initial consultation with a physical rehab doctor there. And of course, during the exam, he was checking my leg out, found out all the places that set off the extreme pain. And then he also could feel with his fingers the nerve that ran up my leg. He said it was enlarged and inflamed, that he said he shouldn't have been able to feel it with just his fingers. So now he has referred me to a doctor in regenerative medicine, and later this month in September of 2015, I'll go for a specialized ultrasound of that nerve in that leg, and then supposedly have a nerve block done to try to stop the pain so that I can start wearing a prosthesis again. Now that's contrary to what I knew before, because I was told before I'd ask about a nerve block and they said no, we don't want to do that, because not only will it stop you from feeling this intense pain, it'll stop you from feeling any pain, most likely. And that's a very sketchy thing for someone with a prosthesis, because you want to be able to feel what's going on, because if you start to feel any little pain, you stop and check your leg to make sure you don't have a sore developing. So I asked the doctor about that. I said, well, I was told you shouldn't have a nerve block. And he said to me, Steve, he says, as far as I can tell, the nerve block has risk, but it's the only way that you're going to be able to walk in a prosthesis again. So I'm hoping that in September, later this month, that nerve block will happen and it will be successful, and they can begin the process of fitting me for a prosthesis again. Even if that does happen, I figure that it'll probably be end of October, early November before I'll begin to walk again. And then after sitting in the wheelchair for 8 months, 9 months, I'm going to have some strength that I'm going to need to, and endurance I'm going to need to rebuild so that I'm able to walk again. So I'm looking forward to that. So hopefully this is the correct solution, because at this point nobody else has come up with any plan B's, plan C's, plan D's. All I got is plan A. So I'm hoping that this plan will work and get me out of the wheelchair and back in a prosthesis.